Amazing examples is Isaïe proposing to a girl for the engagement. So this was one of the guys that was tweeting, said, well, I want to propose to my girlfriend. I have this engagement ring. And basically, I want him to do it for me. Can't you please do that? And so P&G put this all together, right? They had the guy. So he comes up on YouTube and he says, with the name of the girl, of course, would you marry, not him, that would be the ultimate, right? So would you marry this guy? And then, of course, the girl tweets and she says yes. So it's a happy ending. Now, guess how long it took P&G from the tweet of the guy saying, can you do something, till putting this YouTube video online? Guess how long it took? 2 months. It had to go to their legal department. You know, think about what happens in companies, right? They did it in 2 hours. So I'm like, this guy must be constantly half naked in his bedroom to answer to all these things, right? So they had the whole staff online to do this literally in a matter of hours. And the metrics that you get online now, you get much faster. The response to this one was immediate. And if you do something wrong online, then you get also the immediate response, right? So we can use these online metrics as a great way of getting more real-time feedback. And very often, they later on translate in the more representative samples, right? In the JFK studies, about in Turkey, how much is awareness, consideration, and preference for your brand. But it offers a wonderful opportunity to complement your brand metrics with something that you can measure right away. It also gives a wonderful view of you guys to experiment, right? So whenever I go into a company and I look at their advertising and price and I tell them to cut their advertising in half, people say, no, we can't do that, right? We believe your model, but if we save 2 million on advertising, then it just goes to the company. As a manager, I don't see anything of that. But if I lose even 0.5% market share, I get fired, right? So why would I do anything that you tell me to do? So there's a fear of experimentation. There's a fear of increasing our prices, reducing our prices, doing more on promotion, repositioning our brands. Online, it's so easy with your paid search ads, with website landing pages, to experiment with different tactical executions. And so the question I always guess is, yeah, this is a great campaign, but how did P&G knew this was going to be so successful? And the answer is simply they didn't. They did the best they could with their market research. And so this was one of the things they did. But they kept track of it very nicely. They showed right away that this experiment was going to be very successful in the early indicators. And then they could do much more and get much more money to scale it up. So if you have such a system in your company that you can recognize creative marketing that's actually going to drive sales, then you can have the confidence that finance will give much more budgets to that because the link is being made. So I always say in marketing departments that is kind of bean counting, as they call it, right? Checking the brand value, looking at accountability. People in advertising are very afraid that it will diminish their creativity. I'm like, no, we want your creativity, but we just want better experiments so that we can tell very early which ad campaigns, which repositioning is going to be very successful for our brand and our finances and which not. And we're going to reward you on these things. Lego is another great example. Lego was so boring 10, 15 years ago. It's a brand that I know and love. You know, in Belgium, we say if your kids are playing with Lego, they're going to become an engineer. If they're playing with Playmobil, you know, they're going to become artists or managers. But so Lego was very basic, right? And they had the guts to kind of come up with all of these new things. Lego Friends, you know, aimed at girls now, is a fantastic innovation, I think. But where do they get some of their data from? This is just Google Trends. So within countries or within regions, or even cities within a region, you can see which kind of products that you have are people more searching about. And so they have all these costly innovations, right? Star Wars, Harry Potter, Batman, Indiana Jones, Batman. So how do they know which one are going to be successful? Well, in different parts of the world, Star Wars is more successful. In other parts of the world, Batman is more successful. But thanks to tracking this thing online, they know where to put more emphasis in which country in the world and which things to promote more. So that gives you a very nice complement to your traditional kind of purchase funnel, I find. So, you know, just to end, right? So the future of brand finance, if I may speculate on that one, feel the force. This is another Lego figure. So number one, I think it's very important to check the predictive value of the new funnel and the classic funnel. So whatever you're doing to kind of your assumptions about how customers move through the process of buying your brand, how well does it predict? And which things of it, and then it may be too complicated, you may have to simplify it down, or you may be missing some metrics. How good is it to predict your sales and your financials weeks out, months out, and so forth? So that's number one. Number two is you have to define the best funnel for your brand. So whenever I come in companies, we typically start for some kind of benchmark. You know, something that has worked in the same industry before or in a similar country. But ultimately, all of these companies have gotten down the learning curve and came up with the metrics that were most important to them. We had Coke as an example. You know, Coke used to track 150 metrics, and they have now narrowed it down to just 5. So in every country and every region, they have just 5 metrics that they know will be very predictive for their brand. And so one of them is daily drinking. How many people in the country or in the region drink at least 1 Coke a day? They used to measure 60 measures about preference, top of mind, and so forth, and they came up with daily drinking as the more stable and the more predictive measure. Right? Other things they do is, of course, you know, brand love over Pepsi. They track value for money, right? So Coke may be loved in Kyrgyzstan, but if people don't have the money to buy it, then it's not going to predict the sales. And they have a taste attribute measure. Is this a good taste, of course, right? So they have narrowed it down to 5 major attributes. And they've done that by trying a lot and tracking over time how good they predicted. So your brand may have a different kind of ideal funnel than your competitor has. Connect with the force. So I'm saying, you know, your purchase funnel may be based on nice service across the whole of Turkey, but you can complement it with very nice real-time consumer response online. And then finally, as in anything in marketing, you know, better to be vaguely right than precisely wrong, but we do want to be much more precise over time. So if you start doing that, you build a database in your company, and that's how large multinationals become so good. And you can start sharing things. You can try stuff out in Spain, and then your Turkish manager is saying, oh, I can try that out too, and vice versa. So the best companies, I say, they launch these things, and then they iterate. They learn. They share this information about what works and what didn't work all over the world and across their departments. And they just get much better over time at linking marketing to what people do on the marketplace and to how important the brand is. Okay, I think that's it for me. Thank you.